Ever wonder what it feels like to dangle from a cliff with nothing but a transparent sheet of glass between you and a 1,000-foot drop? Stay tuned for our countdown of the most terrifying places people actually pay money to visit. Hello everyone, welcome to Wow Amazing. In this video, we will go through our top 10 most dangerous tourist attractions, but before we begin, we would like you guys to subscribe to Wow Amazing and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on amazing and terrifying content that will surely get your adrenaline pumping. Now buckle up because this countdown is absolutely packed with places that'll make you question why anyone would willingly pay to risk their lives. Number 10, Snake Island, Brazil. Let's begin our countdown with a place so dangerous it's literally off limits to visitors. Snake Island, just off the coast of Brazil, might sound like your standard tropical getaway, but there's a sinister twist to this paradise. This relatively small island is home to approximately 430,000 snakes. You heard me right, 430,000 slithering reptiles on one island. And we're not talking about harmless garden varieties either. Many of these snakes are among the most venomous species in the world. The Brazilian government has actually banned tourists from visiting, which is probably a blessing in disguise. Imagine stepping off a boat onto an island where there's literally one deadly snake per square meter. That's not a vacation, that's a horror movie waiting to happen. Scientists who occasionally visit must follow strict protocols and are accompanied by medical professionals at all times. Even they don't stay overnight. It's like walking through a minefield, but the mines are alive and actively hunting you. So while you might be disappointed that you can't add Snake Island to your travel bucket list, just remember sometimes the most dangerous tourist attractions are the ones you're actually not allowed to visit, and for good reason. While Snake Island keeps people away with reptiles, our next destination actively invites tourists to play a deadly game of tag with massive horned mammals. Number 9, Running of the Bulls, Pamplona, Spain. The running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain, has been a tradition since the 14th century. That's 700 years of people voluntarily running for their lives. Each July, thousands of thrill seekers from around the world gather to participate in this life-threatening event. The premise is simple. Release 6 angry, 1,500-pound bulls onto narrow medieval streets packed with tourists who are literally running for their lives. What could possibly go wrong? Let's put this in perspective. Bulls can reach speeds of 35 miles per hour. The average human sprints at about 15 miles per hour. And that's professional athletes, not tourists who've been up all night drinking sangria. Participants wear traditional white clothing with red scarves, which is ironic considering how easily blood shows up on white. Each year, dozens of runners are injured. Goring, trampling, and being crushed against walls are common injuries. Since record-keeping began in 1910, at least 16 people have died. And yet, every year, the crowds grow larger. Nothing says memorable vacation quite like ending up in a Spanish emergency room with a horn-shaped wound. If being chased by bulls on flat ground sounds terrifying, wait until you see what thrill seekers are doing thousands of feet above the ground in our next entry. Number 8, Mount Huashan Plank Walk, China. Some hiking trails offer gentle slopes and comfortable rest areas. The Mount Huashan Plank Walk in China offers imminent death. Located in China's Shanxi province, this hiking trail consists of narrow wooden planks bolted to the side of a mountain, 7,000 feet above sea level. And when I say narrow, I mean barely wide enough for your feet. The most incredible part? These wooden pathways were installed by Taoist priests 700 years ago. That's right, you're trusting your life to carpentry from the 14th century. No modern engineering assessments, no safety certificates, just faith in ancient religious figures who apparently had a very casual relationship with mortality. Hikers must wear a harness that clips to a chain running along the path. But here's the kicker. The safety harness is optional in some sections. The trail features sections where you must hop from one wooden plank to another with nothing below you except 2,000 feet of open air. One misstep, one loose board, one moment of vertigo, and you're literally falling for nearly half a minute before impact. Despite this, or perhaps because of it, thousands of tourists attempt this hike every year. The views from the summit are reportedly mind-blowing, though that might just be the terror-induced hyperventilation. Our next attraction trades the fear of falling for the fear of being eaten alive. Number 7, Cage of Death, Australia. Australia is known for its dangerous wildlife, but most sensible tourists try to avoid close encounters with deadly creatures, unless, of course, they're visiting the Cage of Death in Darwin, Australia. This cheerfully named attraction is Australia's only crocodile cage diving experience. For approximately $170, you can be lowered in a clear acrylic box into a pool containing a 16-foot, 2,000-pound saltwater crocodile. These prehistoric predators have the strongest bite force ever recorded in an animal, powerful enough to crush a human skull like an egg. The only thing separating you from becoming lunch is a 4-inch thick piece of clear plastic. And here's where it gets even more terrifying. These enclosures have occasionally malfunctioned. In 2015, the cable system jammed, leaving tourists suspended above the crocodile enclosure for 30 minutes as staff scrambled to fix the issue. Imagine hanging there, watching as one of the world's most perfect killing machines circles below you, eyeing you like a snack in a vending machine that's about to drop. The crocodiles often bang against the cage, testing for weaknesses, as millions of years of evolution have taught them to do. One tourist described the experience as feeling like you're in a refrigerator being circled by a dinosaur that's trying to figure out how to open the door. But hey, at least you get some great photos for your social media, assuming your hand stops shaking long enough to press the button. Our next destination combines the deadliest aspects of swimming, waterfalls, and poor life choices. Number 6, Devil's Pool, Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe. Most swimming pools have lifeguards, clear water, and maybe a diving board if you're lucky. The Devil's Pool at Victoria Falls has none of these amenities. What it does have is a 355-foot drop into the gorge below. Located at the edge of Victoria Falls, one of the largest waterfalls in the world, this natural infinity pool forms during the dry season when water levels drop. Daredevil tourists can swim right up to the edge of the falls, peering over into the misty abyss below. Getting to the pool is a challenge in itself. You have to cross a river where guides throw rocks ahead of you to scare away crocodiles. That's right. The approach to this attraction is dangerous enough to require anti-crocodile measures. There are no railings, no safety nets, and no lifeguards on duty. The only thing keeping swimmers from being swept over the edge is a slippery, submerged rock ledge and their own swimming ability. During high wind conditions, the rushing water can create eddies strong enough to pull swimmers toward the edge. Several tourists have died here over the years, though official statistics are hard to come by as local authorities don't want to scare away tourism dollars. The Devil's Pool is only accessible during September and December, when the water flow is low enough. During other months, the current would instantly sweep anyone foolish enough to attempt this stunt over the precipice. The most terrifying moment comes when guides encourage visitors to lie on their stomachs and peer over the edge, with the guides holding their ankles as the only safety measure. Trust exercises don't get more extreme than letting a stranger be the only thing between you and becoming international news. If jumping off a waterfall isn't exciting enough, how about sliding down a volcano? Number 5, volcano boarding, Nicaragua. Most vacations revolve around water, snow, or at least stable ground. Volcano boarding in Nicaragua throws all of that out the window. Instead, you slide down the steep, ashy slope of an active volcano at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. Cerro Negro, a young and highly active volcano, is the hot spot for this bizarre extreme sport. After a grueling 45-minute hike to the top of the volcano in blistering heat, carrying your boarding equipment, you're ready for approximately 40 seconds of terror. Boarders sit or stand on a thin piece of plywood or metal and hurtle down the volcanic slope, with only a jumpsuit and goggles for protection. The volcanic rocks are sharp enough to slice through clothing and skin if you fall, which many people do. Burns, cuts, broken bones, and concussions are common injuries. And let's not forget, this is an active volcano. The last eruption was in 1999, which in geological terms is practically yesterday. Scientists continually monitor seismic activity, but there's always the chance that your fun vacation activity could be interrupted by a sudden blast of 1,000-degree magma. The volcanic surface you're sliding on reaches temperatures of up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which explains why many boarders report their shoes partially melting during the descent. Nothing completes a vacation like having your footwear fused to your feet. Tour operators boast that they've perfected the boards over years of trial and error. What they don't mention is that much of that error involved tourists returning home with souvenir scars and interesting stories for their health insurance claims. The most concerning part? The faster you go, the more control you lose. Yet speed is the entire point of the activity, with tour companies proudly tracking the fastest descents on their wall of pain. One particularly enthusiastic American tourist holds the record at 95 kilometers per hour, a speed that coincidentally matches the velocity needed to ensure maximum damage to the human body upon impact with volcanic rock. While volcano boarders risk their lives on natural formations, our next thrill seekers put their trust in man-made mechanical nightmares. Number 4, Gravity Max, Taiwan. Roller coasters are designed to simulate danger while actually being quite safe. Taiwan's Gravity Max at the Lipao Land theme park seems to have missed the simulated part of that memo. This is the world's only tilt coaster, and it operates exactly as terrifyingly as it sounds. The ride carries passengers up to a horizontal section of track, where it stops completely. Then the entire front section of the track, with you on it, slowly tilts forward until you're facing straight down at a 90-degree angle. You hang there, suspended in the air, staring directly at the ground, while the only thing keeping you from plummeting to earth is a harness and the brakes of the coaster. After what feels like an eternity, about 5 seconds, the ride releases and you drop. But here's the truly nerve-wracking part. The track you're dropping toward has to connect perfectly with your tilted section. If the mechanism fails to align correctly, well, it doesn't bear thinking about. Engineers insist there are multiple fail-safes to prevent catastrophe, but hanging face down 60 feet in the air tends to make even the most rational person question engineering guarantees. One writer described the experience as 5 seconds of wondering if this is how it all ends, followed by the most intense relief when you survive. Sounds like a delightful vacation memory, doesn't it? If experiencing terror for a few minutes on a roller coaster isn't enough for you, our next attraction offers an entire night of suspended fear. Number 3, cliff camping, various locations. Most camping trips involve flat ground, maybe a few rocks under your sleeping bag if you're unlucky. Cliff camping takes this peaceful activity and adds a 1,000-foot drop beneath your sleeping quarters. This extreme form of overnight adventure involves a special hanging tent system called a portal edge, originally developed for multi-day rock climbing expeditions. The setup is essentially a small fabric platform suspended from a single anchor point on a sheer cliff face. That's right, your entire sleeping setup dangles from one connection point. Participants sleep harnessed into their tents to prevent rolling out during the night and plummeting to their deaths. Imagine trying to sleep while every slight movement makes your entire bedroom sway back and forth over a lethal drop. Wind, rain, and unexpected wildlife visitors add to the excitement. In some locations, temperatures can drop dramatically at night, leading to dangerous conditions if proper gear isn't packed. And perhaps most alarmingly, going to the bathroom requires creative solutions best not described in detail. One cliff camper recounted waking up in the middle of the night, forgetting where he was and having the most intense moment of panic I've ever experienced when he realized he was suspended halfway up a cliff face. From sleeping on the edge to driving on it, our next destination takes the concept of a dangerous commute to entirely new levels. Number 2, Death Road, Bolivia. Most roads are designed with safety in mind. Bolivia's North Yungas Road, better known as Death Road, seems designed specifically to maximize fatalities. This 43-mile stretch of highway connects La Paz to Coroico, descending nearly 12,000 feet through the Amazon rainforest. Until 2006, when a newer, safer alternative was constructed, this was the main transportation route in the region. What makes it so dangerous? Let's start with the basics. It's mostly single lane, despite accommodating two-way traffic. The road is unpaved, muddy, and often obscured by thick fog and rain. Oh, and there are no guardrails along most of the route, despite drop-offs of up to 2,000 feet. During the rainy season, Waterfalls cascade across the road, and landslides are common. Yet despite or because of its deadly reputation, Death Road has become a major tourist attraction. Thousands of thrill-seekers sign up for bicycle tours down the treacherous path each year. Since 1998, at least 18 cyclists have died on these tours. Local tradition dictates that vehicles drive on the left side, contrary to Bolivia's normal right-side driving laws, putting downhill traffic on the outer edge, right next to the precipitous drops. The reasoning? This way, drivers can better see their tires in relation to the edge. How comforting. One survivor of the bicycle tour described it as 3 hours of gripping your handlebars so tight your knuckles go white, while trying not to look down and remind yourself you're one pothole away from becoming a statistic. At certain points along the route, you can see the rusted remains of vehicles that have fallen off the edge, a cheerful reminder of what happens if you misjudge a turn. Number 1. China's giant swing, Yunnan County. Our number 1 most dangerous tourist attraction combines extreme height, high speed, minimal safety measures, and a questionable regulatory environment. Welcome to the giant swing at the Huashan Ordovician theme park in China, officially recognized by Guinness World Records as the most spine-tingling swing on the planet. And it's not hard to see why. Perched at the edge of a cliff 2,300 feet above ground level, this swing sends riders arcing out over the abyss at speeds reaching 80 miles per hour. The sensation is one of pure, unadulterated freefall. There are no nets below, no water to break your fall, just thousands of feet of open air between you and the ground. What makes this attraction particularly concerning is the park's spotty safety record. Huashan theme park has been closed multiple times for failing safety inspections. The park features other death-defying attractions, including a 500-foot high-gap bridge, another structure designed to test both your courage and your life insurance policy. Riders are strapped into a harness and attached to metal cables, but with the swing moving at such high speeds, even a small equipment failure could be catastrophic. And while engineering standards in China have improved dramatically in recent years, this particular park doesn't inspire confidence with its history of safety violations. One rider described the experience as the closest thing to suicide without actually dying. But perhaps the most telling comment came from a visitor who said, "I was so terrified I forgot to scream." When fear literally renders you speechless, perhaps that's a sign that the attraction has crossed the line from thrilling to simply dangerous. Bonus entry, the door to hell, Turkmenistan. Like something straight out of a biblical warning, our bonus entry is literally called the door to hell. The Darvaza gas crater in Turkmenistan is a fiery pit that has been burning continuously since 1971. This wasn't designed as a tourist attraction. It began as a Soviet natural gas drilling site that collapsed, creating a massive crater. To prevent the spread of dangerous methane gas, scientists decided to light it on fire, expecting it to burn out in a few weeks. More than 50 years later, it's still burning. The crater measures 230 feet across and 65 feet deep, with temperatures inside reaching a blistering 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt aluminum. Despite the extreme heat and the toxic gases that occasionally waft up from the crater, tourists regularly visit the site, often camping nearby to view the spectacular glow at night. There are no safety railings around most of the crater, no warning signs, no emergency services nearby. Just you, a burning pit of fire, and your own common sense to keep you from falling in. The remoteness of the site adds another layer of danger. Located in the middle of the Karakum Desert, medical help is hours away if anything goes wrong. So if you're looking for a unique vacation spot where you can simultaneously experience extreme heat, toxic gases, and the constant danger of falling into what appears to be a portal to the underworld, the door to hell awaits your visit. Just don't expect safety waivers or gift shops. And there you have it, 10+1 of the world's most dangerous tourist attractions that somehow continue to draw thousands of visitors each year. Also, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode where we'll bring you more tales of terrifying destinations. And if you know someone planning their next vacation, share this video with them. It might just save a life. As always, stay smart, stay safe, And remember, some vacation photos just aren't worth dying for. This is Wow Amazing, signing off until next time.